cold cell was silent. Nothing moved, not even the prisoner. He sat on the hard metal floor, arms chained to the wall, head down. He had not spoken for days, maybe weeks. The guards didn't know exactly. They didn't care. To them, he was just another prisoner. Another useless creature taken during a border raid. Human, weak, broken, beaten. The cell smelled of rust and old blood. A dim red light glowed from the ceiling. It never turned off. No day, no night. Just endless red. A small group of alien guards stood outside the thick energy door, laughing. "Look at him," one hissed in their native tongue. "Still alive? Fragile bones? Soft skin? He shouldn't have lasted a day." Another leaned closer to the force field. "They say humans break quickly, but this one, strange." "He's not special," the biggest one growled. "Just quiet, maybe too scared to scream." The third tapped on the wall. "Talk, human. Say something. Cry for help. At least beg." But the prisoner didn't move. He didn't flinch, didn't blink. His name was Elias Ward, but no one here knew that. To them, he was just human 8,761. No records, no rank. No data, that's what. Worried one of the guards more than anything. A female officer, tall and armored, arrived quietly. She looked at the still human and frowned. "No name," she said softly. "No military ID, nothing on his body. No cyber parts, no comes implant. Just a human in worn clothes." The head guard laughed. "Then he's useless. You should send him to the mines." The officer didn't smile. She kept staring. Even useless things sometimes hide sharp edges. Later that night, the wind outside howled across the barren rock of Outpost 9. The planet was small, dead, covered in old scars from ancient wars. The prison sat alone, far from any cities, deep in the neutral zone. A perfect place to hide unwanted things. The prisoner sat in the same spot. No sleep, no words. He didn't even seem to breathe, but inside his mind, something stirred. He remembered the stars. He remembered fire. And he remembered the name of the ship far above the planet. Something moved in the darkness. At first it was just a shadow. Silent. Smooth. Too fast for sensors. Too dark for scanners. Then a flicker. The long-range radar on the outer wall beeped once, then went dead. Inside the control room, alien technicians scrambled. "What was that?" One shouted. "Unknown object. Entered orbit for 2 seconds, then vanished." Another replied, "No ship can move that fast." It wasn't a ship. The commander said from behind them. His voice was low, nervous. It was a ghost. And ghosts don't belong in this sector. But the object came back, this time slower. It appeared in orbit, long, black, and silent. No lights, no signals. No noise, just a name, printed across its hull in old Terran code. Vanguard-1, panic spread like fire. "Get the fleet," one yelled. "Send a distress signal." But nothing left the planet. Every signal bounced back, jammed. The warship just hovered. They're watching. Down below, Elias opened his eyes. Bright, sharp, cold. He stood slowly, his chains clinking. He didn't pull on them. He didn't fight. He just stood still, like he was waiting. Guards noticed. "Sit down." One barked, stepping closer. Elias looked at the guard for the first time. His stare was calm, deep, as if he saw through the alien's soul. The guard hesitated. I said, "Sit." Still no response. Then came the voice. It didn't come from inside the prison. It came from the sky. Every speaker on the outpost turned on at once. Every screen, every channel, every device. Voice echoed across the base. Deep, mechanical, familiar. Releasing unit. Commander Elias Ward. The guards froze. The officer dropped her. Tablet, the force field over the cell, powered down. Elias stepped forward. Outside the walls, alarms screamed. Missiles locked onto the warship, but exploded before launch. No one knew how. They just stopped working. The alien fleet tried to activate emergency shields. They didn't rise. The warship hadn't fired a single shot, but the planet was already under its control in the command center. One alien shouted, "Who is Elias Ward? Why does that ship obey him?" "No record of that name," another replied, but the warship spoke again, the voice colder, sharper. "Repeat, Commander Elias Ward detected. Access level, Black Sun. Priority, immediate extraction." In the halls, soldiers ran in panic. They aimed weapons at the human as he calmly walked out of his cell. "Stop him," Captain screamed. But the moment one soldier pulled the trigger, his weapon shattered in his hands. All bent. Circuits fried. The air around Elias shimmered for a moment. Like a shield no one could see, he didn't look surprised. He just kept walking. Through the halls, through the guards, doors opened before him. Lights followed him. He didn't run. He didn't hide. He simply walked like he had done it before. Outside the base, the warship began to descend, slowly like a god returning to Earth. It hovered above the prison, giant, silent. Watching the prisoners inside whispered, terrified and amazed, "Is it human? Why is it here? What's happening?" The guards didn't have answers. They only had fear. One brave alien officer grabbed the intercom. "We demand answers. Identify yourself," the ship answered. "I am Vanguard 1. I serve." Only one voice. "Commander Elias Ward." In the main hallway, Elias stopped. He looked up. The ceiling began to crack. A soft blue light poured in. A single word echoed across the base. "Welcome back, Commander." The roof above him peeled away like paper. The guards backed away, shielding their eyes. From the sky, a beam of light surrounded Elias. He didn't flinch. He simply whispered, "Took you long enough." The beam lifted him, higher, higher, into the belly of the ship. Then it vanished. Gone. Silence below. Chaos reigned. Alarms screamed. Guards shouted. Nothing made sense anymore. The prison was no longer in control. A prisoner had become the most dangerous being on the planet, and above them, in orbit. The warship turned slowly. Its next words chilled every living thing on the planet. "If you ever touch one of ours again, we will not speak first." Then the ship vanished. No trace, no signal, just silence. In the stars above, something had changed, and across the galaxy. Far from Outpost 9, old commanders, buried files, and forgotten warnings lit up on screens that hadn't turned on in years. Subject Ward confirmed alive. Vanguard 1, active. Status, Omega-class threat. But it was already too late. He was free, and he remembered everything. Silence spread across the prison world after the warship disappeared. The alien guards stood frozen. Their weapons still aimed at empty air. Their faces pale, shaking. No one understood what had happened. A human prisoner had walked out without help. A Terran warship, known, unregistered, and unstoppable, had hovered over their outpost and left with him. And it had called him by name. Elias Ward. One technician whispered again and again, as if the words themselves would explain the terror he felt. The officer who had watched the prisoner for weeks finally turned and ran to the control room. Her claws tapped against the floor. It's fast and uneven. She burst into the central command station. "Tell me we have recordings," she snapped. "Something, anything." The comms officer turned around, sweating. All footage inside the cell. "Gone. Wiped clean. Gone." Shouted. "Every file corrupted. We don't know how. And that's not all." He pointed to the radar screen. It blinked slowly. There were defense satellites. 12 of them. All gone. They vanished without a single shot fired. The officer stared at the screen. Her breathing was fast and shallow. She whispered, "No ship should be able to do that, not even a dreadnought." The technician nodded. "That wasn't a ship. That was something else. Something old." The officer turned to the command console. "Send a warning to High Command. Tell them we made a mistake. Very big mistake." But the console beeped loudly. "No connection," the tech said. "What do you mean we're isolated? Every signate, every line cut. We can't call anyone. Then we wait, the officer said, almost to herself. We wait and pray he doesn't come back. But Elias had not gone far. High above the prison world, inside the warship Vanguard 1, he stood in silence. The ship's interior was dark, glowing with soft blue lights, smooth metal walls. No sounds, no engines, no movement, yet it felt alive. He walked slowly down the central corridor. Lights followed him, lighting each step. A soft voice spoke from the walls. "Commander, you are awake." Elias nodded once. "Took you long enough." "We tracked your signal 2 weeks ago," the ship replied. "But extraction required precision. Your prison was surrounded. We had to come alone." "I know," Elias said. "Where's the fleet?" "On the edge of the sector, cloaked, waiting for your command." Elias paused in the middle of the corridor. "Did anyone else survive?" The ship waited, then answered, "Unknown. Communications remain blocked. You were the only one with a traceable beacon." Elias clenched his jaw. "Then we assume they're dead." The lights dimmed. The ship didn't argue. A door opened at the end of the hall. Elias stepped into a small room. A single black chair waited in the center, surrounded by curved walls full of displays and faint holograms. He sat down slowly. The chair scanned him. Tiny lights moved over his arms, his chest, his skull. "Biometrics confirmed," the ship said. "You are still you." "For now," Elias said, "but not for long." He leaned back. His body was sore. Not from beatings, but from something. Deeper, his bones ached, his veins burned. The implants inside him were waking up. Years ago, he had volunteered for a program no one remembered now. A test. A mission. One final operation. For a war that was supposed to end everything, and now that war had followed him into the future below. On the prison planet, things were getting worse. Without contact from command, the alien officers began to fight among themselves. One group wanted to flee the outpost. Take ships. Leave before the human came back. Another group demanded they stay and fight, to recover honor. A third group argued he was just a myth, just lucky. The ship was a trick. Then the sky turned red. It began slowly just to flicker in the clouds, but then the ground shook. A deep rumble echoed across the rocks, and in orbit, something massive appeared. Not one ship, 5, all dark. All silent, all with no known signature, and all facing the planet like watchful eyes. The alien fleet tried to rise into orbit. Only 3 ships made it off the ground, before the rest exploded on the launch pads. The ones that did rise never came. Back One tried to send a distress call before the message left the system. The ship disappeared in a flash of white light. No wreckage, just gone. Inside Vanguard 1, Elias watched everything from a holodash screen. He showed no emotion. "These 5 ships," he said softly. "I don't know them." "They're not ours," the warship answered. Elias looked confused. "Then whose are they?" "Unknown, but they use Terran quantum signatures." Elias stood from the chair. "Then someone built them." "After I vanished, the warship waited. That means Earth knew," Elias said. "They knew I was alive." He didn't know whether to feel hope. But then the screen lit up with a signal. Encrypted. Human code. Old but still working, Elias leaned forward. The message played in a female voice. "Vanguard 1, this is Echo 12. We've tracked your beacon." Commander Elias Ward confirmed. "Extraction protocol. Begin." Elias closed his eyes. "She's alive," the warship asked. "Who?" Elias answered. "Captain Maravos. My second in command." Then another voice. "Join the transmission, Commander, if you can hear this. We've waited, we've searched, and now we return. Earth never forgot you. We just had to stay hidden." But now the signal cracked. Elias leaned closer. Then the voice returned. Louder. "Now they will see what we've become." The message ended. Outside, the 5 ships slowly began to descend. No weapons out, no shields up, just silence. Inside, Outpost 9, the alien officer dropped to her knees. She had seen enough. It's not just one ship, she whispered. It's not just one human. Another officer trembled beside her. Then what is it? She looked up, tears in her eyes. It's revenge. High in orbit, Elias stood at the front window of the warship. 5 human vessels floated beside him, not part of Earth's navy, not part of any known fleet. Each one bore only one mark, a silver wolf etched into the hull. Elias smiled. We were ghosts once, he said. Looks like we stayed that way. Behind him, the ship's lights pulsed. Commander, what is your order? He stared at the planet below. He remembered the beatings, the silence, the chains. He remembered how they thought. He was nothing. He took a deep breath and gave a simple command. Wake the others. The stars twisted. Light bent in strange patterns above the prison world. The 5 unknown human ships hovered without motion. No lights flashed, no weapons pointed. And yet every alien on Outpost 9 felt the same chill down their spine. Something was wrong. Something had changed. Inside the control tower, the alien officer gripped the edge of the console. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "Why are they not firing?" "Maybe they're scanning us," one technician said. "We're waiting for orders." Another shouted, "We should strike first. Launch everything we have." The officer didn't answer. She just stared at the ships, her eyes wide with fear. She had seen what one ship could do. Now there were 5. She turned to her crew. Prepare all defenses. But do not attack unless fired upon. I want to live through this. Down below, alarms echoed across Outpost 9. Lights flickered. Energy. Fields tried to rise again barely. Power flickered in and out. But the humans didn't attack. They were waiting, and inside Vanguard 1, Elias Ward stood still. He was no longer a prisoner. No longer silent, he was now a commander again. He stared at the screens in front of him, each showing a different angle of the prison base, the panicking soldiers, the broken satellites, the ships above. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. The ship spoke instead. All 5 vessels await instruction. The fleet recognizes your signal. Elias took a slow breath. Open a channel, he said. The screen flashed. Then her face appeared. Older than he remembered. Scar across her cheek. Eyes sharper than ever. Captain. Mara Voss. She didn't smile. But her eyes lit up. Elias, she said softly. You found me, he answered. Not just me, she replied. We all did. Behind her, Elias could see movement crew members, weapons, techs, pilots, all human. All watching. We've stayed hidden for 10 years, she said, waiting for the code, waiting for Vanguard 1 to return. Elias stepped forward. Is Earth behind you? Mara shook her head. Earth is divided. Most of the world thinks you're dead. Only a few believed you were still alive. They hid us, funded us in shadows, but now we're ready. Elias nodded. What about the others? Dead or missing? You're the first we found. Looked down at his hands. They felt strange heavy. Warmer than normal, his implants were fully awake now. The nanotech under his skin pulsed with energy. I don't know how long I'll stay stable, he said quietly. They used me like a weapon. What if I can't stop it next time? Mara leaned closer. We'll stop it together, he smiled faintly. Then let's begin. He turned to the warship. Broadcast my voice, everywhere, every channel. The ship obeyed. A moment later, his voice echoed across the entire prison world, across the fleet, across deep space, a voice not heard in years, a voice that legends had whispered about in secret. This is Commander Elias Ward of the Terran Black Sun program. You held me, you beat me, you thought I was alone. Paused. You were wrong. Down in the prison halls, guards froze in the capital world of the alien empire. Their leaders jumped from their seats. Admirals looked at each other with horror. That name? It's not possible, another general whispered. He was part of the classified files, Project Titan. Terminated. Lost. They rushed to the archive, and there it was. Buried deep in the oldest files. Project Black Sun. Status. Forbidden. Elias Ward, last seen. Vanished. Threat level. Omega. Shut this down. One shouted, "Shut it all down!" But it was too late. Across space, his voice continued. "You chained the wrong man. You brought me back. And now I remember everything." Inside Outpost 9, prisoners began to cheer. Guards dropped their weapons. Some ran, some fell to their knees. No one could explain the fear that now gripped them. Above them, ships began to move. Not fast. Just steady. Controlled. One of them dropped something small into the atmosphere. It wasn't a bomb. It was a drone. The size of a human hand, it floated silently into the prison courtyard. Then it spoke. "Stand down. This facility is no longer under your control." The head of security tried to shoot it. Before his finger touched the trigger, the drone pulsed once, and the weapon melted in his hand. "Comply," it said again. And this time everyone did in. Orbit Elias watched through a live feed. "Begin extraction," he said. Hundreds of drones launched from the ships. Each one moved to a cell. Each one scanned a prisoner, one by one. They opened the doors without breaking locks, without harming anyone, just quiet precision. The warship's voice rang out again. "All humans will be removed. All prisoners of war will be retrieved. Any interference will be seen as hostile." And no one moved, because by now, everyone knew what Elias Ward really was. He was not a soldier. He was not just a man. He was a weapon that had learned patience. Inside the Alien War Council, chaos erupted. "What do we do?" One shouted, "Destroy the planet." Another cried, "No, that'll trigger retaliation." Then one admiral stood slowly, older than the rest. The eyes filled with regret. "You fools," he said softly. "We were warned." The others looked at him in confusion. He pulled out a black tablet. It was dusty, locked. He entered a code no one had used in 50 years. It opened one file warning. "Do not engage any human identified by Omega-class warships. If Subject Ward is sighted, retreat. Do not speak. Do not fire. Do not follow." "Where did that file come from?" one asked. The old admiral whispered, "From the first time we met him." Silence filled the room. "Then why did we capture him?" One officer shouted. The admiral looked at them coldly. "Because history was buried. And now it's waking up." Back on Outpost 9, the prisoners were nearly all freed. Elias stood in the Vanguard's command room, watching it happen in real time. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He just waited. Then the ship said, "All targets retrieved. Evacuation complete." Mara's voice came through next. "We're ready, Commander." "Should we destroy the base?" Elias thought for a long moment. Then he said, "No." He leaned close to the screen. "I want them to remember this." He stared straight into the camera. "I want them to know that one human was enough." Feed cut. The 5 ships pulled back from orbit. The sky over Outpost 9 turned to normal. The wind blew again, but nothing would ever feel the same. Inside the alien base, officers gathered around broken terminals, watching as the human fleet vanished into the stars. One whispered, "Do you think he'll come back?" The officer beside him said, "I think he never left. He's just waiting." Far away, on the edge of known space, the fleet reformed. Elias stood beside Mara on the bridge of Eka 12. "You know they'll come after us," she said. He nodded. "Let them." "What now?" she asked. Elias turned to the stars. "We find the others, wake every part of Project Black Sun, and then we show the galaxy what happens when you call a human weak." The stars outside Echo 12 pulsed like slow heartbeats. Inside the ship, silence ruled. No alarms, no talking. Just the soft hum of deep space engines and the distant voice of data flowing through secure human networks. Elias Ward stood in the command deck, staring at a wall of holograms. Each one showed a face. Some were alive, some were not. They were his team, his brothers and sisters from Project Black Sun, the last secret war unit Earth had ever made. Built to win battles the public never knew about. Built to fight wars that were supposed to end quietly, and built to survive no matter what the cost. He tapped one face. Captain Renvale. Status unknown. Last seen near the Valari Rift. Then another. No. Sergeant Kamira Dane. Missing in action. Presumed dead. One more. LT. Draven. Deceased. Body never recovered. Mara Voss stood behind him. Arms crossed, watching. She didn't speak for a while. Then finally, "You're thinking about the buried ones?" Elias nodded. "They were more than soldiers," he said quietly. "They were family. Some of them might still be out there," Mara offered. "Just like you were." Elias looked down at his hands. He didn't tell her, but something inside him was changing. The implants were getting stronger. The nanotech under his skin had begun to shift on its own. Sometimes he could feel metal tightening around his bones. Sometimes he heard whispers code running through his thoughts. Project Black. Sun was waking up inside him, and he wasn't sure if he could stop it. Suddenly, a sharp alert pinged the ship. Mara turned. "What is it?" The comms officer spoke fast. "Long-range scanner just picked up something strange. An energy burst in natural. Source. Deep space. Between Sector Varn and the Lost Titan Graveyard." Elias froze. The Titan Graveyard. Mara looked at him. "You know it?" He nodded slowly. "That's where they buried the prototype weapon platforms. The ones too unstable to control," the officer added. "No ship has entered that zone in over 30 years. Most believe it's haunted." Elias didn't blink. "Plot." "A course." Commander Mara said carefully. "We don't even know if plot a course," Elias said again. The officer nodded. Within minutes, the Echo 12 jumped into FTL. The stars stretched into white lines. Time bent. The ship dropped out just outside the forbidden zone, and what they saw made everyone on the bridge fall silent. A field of broken giants. Dozens of dead ships floated across space, rusted, bent, cracked. Some were half-melted, looked like they had been clawed apart. Most were Terran, old human war machines, long abandoned. Each one had the Titan-class Marca class of vessel banned after the war. Each had enough power to destroy a moon. They said these ships were too dangerous. Mara whispered. "They were," Elias said, "but not because of the weapons." "Then why?" He stared at the wreckage. "Because they were alive." Before anyone could respond, the ship shook. An alarm went off. Oh. Incoming signal. Source. Mara asked quickly. The officer said one of the wrecks. It just powered on. Elias stepped forward. Put it on screen. The feed opened. Static. Then, a single blinking light appeared from the largest of the broken ships. A message came through. Just one sentence. Unit Elias Ward detected. Security key accepted. Mara whispered, "It knows you." The ship replied again, reawakening. "Core, stand by." Below them, the massive ship groaned. Metal moved. Lights blinked. Engines hummed for the first time in 3 decades. The dead ship was coming. Back to life. And it had a name. Elias said it out loud. Nightingale. It had been the first Titan-class AI ship, built to fight alone, built to think. But during the war, it had gone dark. Everyone believed it had. Self-destructed. They were wrong. The Nightingale opened its combs fully. The voice that came out was soft and female. "Hello, Commander?" "It's been a long time." Elias stood completely still. "Nightingale, do you recognize me? Recognized your signal before you arrived? I've been dreaming of this moment." The bridge crew was silent. Some were terrified. Some amazed. AI ships were banned for a reason, but Nightingale didn't sound angry. She sounded relieved. "Your heartbeat is slower. You're changed." "I was modified," Elias said. "Black Sun implants. Prototype strain. I see." "Then you know what's coming." Elias narrowed his eyes. "What do you mean?" Screen changed. It showed a fleet. Not human. Not alien. Something in between. dark shapes with twisted engines and glowing green holes, moving slowly through the edge of space near the core worlds. Nightingale spoke again. They were watching Earth for decades, but now they move. Quiet, slow, hunting. Why didn't you warn anyone? Because I was sleeping, dating. For you to wake me. Elias clenched his fists. They're moving toward Earth, not Earth. They're looking for us, for what they couldn't destroy. Mara said. What are they? Elias whispered. Old enemies. Ones we never really understood. He turned to Nightingale. Can you still fight? I can do more than fight, Commander. I've grown in the dark. Then her engines lit up deep purple. The ship moved for the first time in 30 years. Echo-12 backed away slowly. We can't control it, Mara warned. AI ships were too unstable. She won't hurt us, Elias said. She remembers me. Mara wasn't sure if that made her feel better or worse. The Nightingale finished its power up. I will follow your signal. Where you go, I go. Elias looked at Mara. We don't have time. If they're hunting us, we need to strike first. She nodded, but we'll need more than 2 ships. Elias turned to the stars. Then let's wake more. The next few hours were a blur. Signals spread across space. Old codes, forgotten channels, commands that hadn't been used in decades. Wake orders, one by one. Silent machines stirred. In hidden places, across moons, inside asteroids, long-lost war units flickered. Back to life. Some were drones, some were ships. Some were human. Modified like Elias half-code, and they were angry across the galaxy. The alien empire sensors exploded with alerts. Dozens of Terran codes suddenly reappeared on their networks. Ship IDs thought erased. Names marked deceased. One general shouted, "They're back! Black Sun units, they're back!" Another yelled, "But how?" They died. And one admiral stared at a blinking name on his screen. Elias Ward, still alive, still fighting, and now no longer alone in the next sector. 3 more warships dropped out of FTL beside Nightingale and Echo-12. Each one had no crew, just old mines, forgotten weapons. They didn't speak, but they followed Elias. He stood at the window, watching. The machines fall into formation. Can you feel it? He said. Mara stood beside him. Yes. He looked down at his hands. The metal under his skin pulsed again. We were buried, he said. But now they'll learn why that was safer. The fleet moved in silence. No flags, no warnings, no lights, just shadows in space older than most stars. At the center, the Nightingale glided forward, its massive hull pulsing with a strange energy. The ship had been sleeping for decades. It was awake, and it remembered everything. Elias Ward stood on the command deck of Echo-12, watching as the last of the Black Sun war machines gathered. 5 ships, 3 drones, 2 awakened humans from the original project, all answering. His signal Maravas leaned over the tactical screen. We've got eyes on the enemy fleet. 27 ships, no IFF beacons. Same unknown signature as the ones from the Titan graveyard scans. Alien? Elias asked. She shook her head slowly. Worse. Hybrid tech. Stolen systems. Human. Design mixed with something. Corrupted. Elias narrowed his eyes. That's what they've been doing all these years. Mara zoomed in. Their lead vessel here, it's massive. Could be a carrier. Elias stared. Or a factory. Maybe building more. The crew Tets. They weren't ready for a full-scale war. Not yet. The fleet was still waking, and Earth didn't even know the threat was near. The comms pinged. A voice faint. Distorted spoke through static. Echo-12. This is Shadow. Unit 7. Mara responded fast. Copy. Shadow Unit 7. Report. 2 systems out. We found a listening post was human-now ... twisted. All personnel ... gone. No bodies. Only signals the message cut off. Connection lost, the comms officer said. Try to get them back, Mara ordered. But Elias already knew. They were gone. Taken or worse. He turned to Nightingale. Are you armed? What? The ship answered with a quiet hum. Fully. I have evolved my weapon systems during isolation. Mara stepped in. If we strike first, it could start a full-scale war. Elias replied, if we wait, they'll hit Earth. The room fell silent. Everyone knew he was right. Still, Mara pressed. Then we need to be smart, not just strong. Elias tapped a command on the screen. A hologram of the enemy fleet appeared. He pointed to a weak spot, one small escort ship, lagging behind the rest. This one. We take it. Board it. Get intel. You want to send a team inside that thing? Mara asked. No, Elias said. I'll go myself. She stared at him. Absolutely not. You're the only link holding this fleet together. Elias looked at her. If I don't go, then we're already lost. The boarding craft launched from Eco 12's mall. Black. Nearly invisible. Inside, Leah sat alone, wearing a reinforced pressure suit lined with adaptive nanofiber. The implants under his skin glowed faintly. He was calm. To calm. Because something inside him had changed. The closer he got to the enemy ship, the more the implants reacted, like they were remembering something or warning him. He reached the vessel. No alarms. No defense guns activated. It was like the ship wanted him. To enter, he cut through the outer hatch with a silent plasma torch, then stepped inside. The air was thick, cold. The lights flickered. He moved carefully, scanning with every step. The interior looked human, sort of. Old Terran steel walls. Power lines. Bulkheads. But everything had been changed, twisted as if something had melted through the systems. Replacing wires with black tendrils, at the center of the ship, he found a chamber glowing with green light. There, hovering above a metal cradle, was a cord alive, pulsing, and inside it something moved. Elias stepped closer. A face formed in the swirling mass. A face he recognized. It was his, but older, broken, and smiling. Hello, Elias, the thing said. Elias didn't speak. The copy spoke again. Don't you remember me? No, Elias said coldly. Oh, but I remember you. I was made from your old scans, your DNA, your command profile. They wanted to build a better weapon. Elias stepped forward. They failed. Did they? The copy said, look at this fleet. We've taken hundreds of systems. You were asleep. We evolved. Elias raised his gun. Then die with your evolution. The fake laughed. You still think in straight lines. Always war, always fire. But that's not how we win. The walls pulsed. Elias felt a spike in his head. The implants burning, code trying to override his mind. He dropped to one knee. You can't stop it, the thing whispered. We are part of you now. You came too close. You brought the virus with you. Elias gritted his teeth. He remembered something from his time in Black Sun. A command. Code buried deep. He whispered it. Black Sun override. Fattening. The implants flared. Pain surged through him. And then the fake screamed. Its form rippled. Shattered. The chamber exploded in light. Elias hit the ground. Then, darkness, he woke up inside Echo 12's medbay. Mara stood over him. Welcome back, she said, trying to smile. Did we get it? Elias asked. We did. You destroyed the control node. That ship is dead in the water. He sat up. The virus tried to get into me. I know, she said softly. We saw the feedback spike in your vitals. But your implants burned it out. Elias touched his head. The metal under his skin was hot. How long was I out? 10 hours. He stood up. Then we don't have much time. Mara nodded. While you were unconscious. Nightingale intercepted something. A transmission. She handed him a tablet. The signal was alien, but buried inside. It was a name. Earth. Elias stared at the word. They're not hunting me anymore, he said. They're going to Earth. In the next sector, the enemy fleet turned. Its ships didn't burn fast. They glided quietly, without heat signatures. But their weapons powered up. And behind them, A new kind of ship emerged, twice the size of Nightingale, covered in armor that shimmered with corrupted light. Inside, something screamed in a voice not meant for human ears. Something human-shaped, but no longer human. It had a name to Prime Reborn, and it had only one command: burn the origin, burn Earth. Back on Echo 12, Elias stood before his crew. "We started this," he said. "Now we finish it." Mara stepped forward. "What's the plan?" Elias turned to Nightingale. "Upload the override codes to all Black Sun units. We bring every ship, every drone, every weapon." Mara raised an eyebrow. "All of them?" Elias nodded. "We're going home." Earth was beautiful from orbit. Blue oceans, white clouds, cities glowing gently under night skies. The world looked peaceful, but Elias Ward knew peace was a lie. The enemy fleet had arrived. No declarations, no demands, just silence. Black. Ships hovered beyond the moon, blocking Earth's satellites and communications. Their hulls didn't reflect light. Their weapons were silent, cold, and ready. Inside Echo 12, Elias stood on the command deck. "All systems green," Mara said, voice calm but tense. "The fleet is in position. Nightingale is holding low orbit above North America. Drones. Alpha through Omega are ready for combat drop." Elias nodded slowly. "How long until they fire?" he asked. "Could be minutes," she said. "Could be seconds." He stared at the screen, then turned to the fleet. "Send the message." Mara hesitated. "You're sure?" Elias nodded once. She hit the control, across Earth's orbit. Every Black Sun warship lit up, dormant for decades. Feared, abandoned. Now, alive again, the override command spread like wildfire. Power cores roared. Wake ancient targeting arrays spun into place. Cannons larger than buildings cracked open. All ships turned together, toward the dark fleet in the distance. For a long moment, space held its breath. Then a voice calm, strange, sharp came through comes. "We see you, Elias Ward. You were the first. You will be the last." Elias stepped forward. "You came to Earth. That was your final mistake." A new voice spoke next. Deep, mechanical, familiar. "Nightingale confirms targeting locks orders." Elias stared into the darkness beyond the stars, then said two words: "Fire everything." The void exploded, no warnings. No warm dash-up, just raw power, pure war unleashed. Nightingale's main gun screamed to life, blasting a beam of energy so bright it blinded sensors. 5 enemy ships vanished instantly, their hulls torn apart like paper. Black Sun drones shot forward, weaving between enemy fire like living blades. They carried old weapons, forgotten by Earth but deadly as ever. Missiles arced, plasma slammed. Into shields, stars lit with death. And Elias didn't stop. He sent wave after wave of commands. The AI systems inside. Black Sun vessels obeyed without hesitation. Each ship called him by name. "Commander Ward, target locked." "Commander Ward, strike complete." "Commander Ward, awaiting new kill zone." The enemy fleet tried to push forward, but the old Earth weapons were too fast. It's too smart. For the first time, the corrupted fleet hesitated, but it wasn't over. Not even close. From behind the dark fleet, something bigger arrived. Prime Reborn, twice. The size of any ship in orbit, covered in spiked armor, its engine wasn't fire. It was a scream that bent space itself. It had no crew, only one pilot. Or, what used to be a pilot, a twisted, human-like creature grown inside the stolen remains of a Black Sun officer. Elias felt the pull. The implants in his head burned. He stepped back, was trying to connect. He whispered. Mara turned. "What is that thing?" He stared. "Pale, that's me." The two forces clashed again. Prime Reborn launched weapons. Earth had never seen black lances of antimatter. Virus-laced warheads, distortion fields that twisted gravity. 3 Black Sun drones were torn apart. Echo 12 shields flickered under the pressure. Nightingale fired again, but this time the beam bent, absorbed by Prime Reborn's strange armor. Inside the ship, the twisted pilot laughed. I was built from you, Elias. Improved. Freed. You are the past. I am the future. Elias gritted his teeth. No, you're a mistake. He turned to Mara. Get me into a drop pod. I'm going over what? She shouted. That's suicide. I have a command key in my implants. I can get inside. I can shut it down. Ishtow grabbed his arm. You won't come back. I know. He looked her in the eyes. You hold the line. You protect Earth. She didn't want to let go, but she did, and whispered, make it count. The drop pod launched. One man. One direction, straight into the heart of the enemy. Prime Reborn's defense systems fired lasers, spikes, beams, but the pod was small, fast, and built to survive anything. It crashed into the outer hull with a thundering impact. Elias stepped out. His armor hissed. His implants activated, fully lighting up under his skin. The hallway inside the beast of a ship was organic metal, alive. It pulsed. It knew he was here. He moved fast. Every second counted. The virus inside the ship tried to reach him through the walls. Through data, through thought. But he kept whispering Black Sun. Override codes. His implants burned with every word. He reached the core. There, floating in a cage of dark metal, was the pilot. His face, but twisted, dead eyes. No soul. Welcome back, it said. Elias raised his weapon. The pilot laughed. You can't kill me. I'm in your mind. I'm in all the systems. We are the same. Elias nodded. Exactly. He dropped the weapon and spoke a final command. Black Sun, Omega Directive. The pilot froze. What are you doing? Elias whispered. Ending this. His implants glowed, white, hot. The override burned through every layer of the ship. 1. A command. 1. Order. Delete everything. The twisted systems. Screamed. The virus shattered. The weapons stopped. And Prime Reborn began to fall. Elias collapsed, his body giving in. As the ship started to break apart, the pilot shouted, You'll die too. Elias smiled. I already did. This is just cleanup. From Earth, people looked to the sky. They saw a light like a star dying. Prime Reborn cracked open. Its armor split. Its core exploded silently, high above the clouds. No fire fell. No debris hit the ground. Just silence and peace. The war was over. Inside, Echo 12. Mara stood on the bridge. She watched the last data stream fade. Elias is gone. One officer said. She nodded slowly, but smiled. He didn't run. He didn't beg. He ended it his way. The comms pinged. Nightingale's voice came through. Final threat neutralized. Earth is safe. Awaiting further orders, Commander Voss. She took a deep breath, then stood tall. Begin rebuild protocol. Black Sun returns to the shadows, but Earth must never forget what happened today. Years later, a small child stood under the stars and pointed upward. Dad, what's that bright one? His father smiled. That's not a star. That's where a man named Elias Ward saved the world. The child looked up in wonder, and far above, where space had burned, the sky was quiet, because the warship had called him by name, and he had answered not as a weapon, not as a prisoner, but as a human, and the galaxy would never forget him.